Energy is so important in our life. We use it to light our house, to cook our food, and we transport with cars and boats. So in this lesson, we will study the energy, resources, and food. Through the lesson, we will go to identify the energy and work, the types and form of energy, and the mechanical energy. So we eat food and we provide cars with fuels because combustion of food in human body produce energy which enables us to move, to do our work, to do activity. And also the combustion of fuel in car engine produce energy which enables the car to move or to do work. So the energy is the ability to do work or make a change. And we measure energy with joule. And when we affect an object with a force and this object move in the direction of force, then we do work. We measure the work by joule. So the man who pushes the cart and the cart move, then the man doing work. And when the displacement increases, the work done increases. But the man who pushing the ball, he don't do work. Why? Because the displacement equal 0. The ball don't move, so he don't do work. He can't do work. So work equal force multiplied by displacement. So calculate the work done when a force of 65 Newton acted on a body to move it 10 meters in the direction of the force. So we see that the force, the work equal force multiplied by displacement. So work done equal force of 65 Newton multiplied by 10 meters equal 650 joules. Energy has many types, forms, and resources. So the resource of energy: nuclear reaction, food, fuel, water movement, wind, and the sun. And the types of energy, like light from the sun, electric lamp, and kerosene lamp; sound energy, like from loudspeakers and musical; electric, like wind generator; solar cell, they generate electricity; heat, like produced from the heater and the gas oven; nuclear, like the reaction inside the nuclear reactor; chemical, like stored in food, car battery, and fuel. So wider developing countries aim to use the solar energy, wind energy, and movement of water to produce electricity more than before, because that the sun is a permanent resource, while wind and movement of water are renewable resources which are cheap and doesn't pollute the environment. And why the person who pushes the ball doesn't do work? Because he doesn't move the ball a distance. Because to do work, you have to move the object. Lastly, we'll talk about one type of energy, which is mechanical energy. So mechanical energy is the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy. So what are those potential energy and kinetic energy? We say that potential energy is the energy stored in the object due to the work done on it. So when you pull the string of an arc, the work done to pull the string is stored in the string as potential energy. So what are the factors affecting potential energy? The weight of the object and the height from the ground. So imagine we will try to lift 3 balls. The tennis ball will be the easiest one to lift because it has the least or lower weight, and the hardest one to lift will be the bowling ball because it has the higher or greatest weight. So the work done to lift the spheres up increase by increasing the weight, because the potential energy stored in an object increase by increasing the weight. And if we drop two similar weight balls but from different height, the compression of the string increase with the higher ball, because potential energy increases by increasing the height of the object. So the potential energy is directly proportional to its weight and height. Potential energy equal weight multiplied by height. So what is meant by the potential energy of an object equal 0? This means that the object is placed on the ground because it has no height. The height equal 0. So the potential energy, we say that equal weight by height, and when the height is 0, potential energy equal 0. So what is meant by the potential energy of an object equal 30 joule? That means that the energy stored in that object due to the work done is 30 joule. So why no change in the potential energy happen when the object move horizontally? Because when the object move in horizontal direction, there is no height. The height equal 0, because its height doesn't change, as the potential energy is directly proportional to the height of the object from the ground. An object whose mass is 2.5 kilogram and its height at 4 meters, we need to calculate its potential energy, and when the height decrease by 1 meter, again calculate the potential energy. So in the first case, potential energy equal weight multiply the height. The weight equal 2.5 by 10 to get the weight from the mass, equal 25 Newton. So the potential energy will equal 25 by 4 equal 100 joule. Okay, when the height decrease by 1 meter, again the potential energy equal the weight multiply the height. So the potential energy equal 25 multiplied by 3. So potential energy equal 75 joule. So as we see, the potential energy decrease by decreasing the height and increase by increasing the height. So find the weight of an object of potential energy 88 joule when it's found at height 2 meters. So potential energy equal weight multiply height. We need to calculate the weight. So the potential energy, the weight, equal potential energy over the height, equal 88 over 2 meters equal 44 Newton. An object whose mass is 2 kilogram and it's at height of 5 meters, calculate its potential energy. Again, the potential energy equal the weight multiply height. Again, the weight equal the mass multiply 10. 2 by 10 equal 20 Newton. So potential energy equal 20 multiply 5 equal 100 joule. Calculate the height of an object from the Earth's surface, knowing that its weight is 4 Newton and potential energy 10 joule. Here. So potential energy equal weight multiply height. We need to calculate the height. So the height will equal potential energy over weight. So equal 10 joule over 4 Newton, 2.5 liters. So second, we talk about kinetic energy. So the kinetic energy is the force or the work done during the motion of an object. So when you release the arc, the work done and stored in potential energy changed into kinetic energy or released into kinetic energy. And the factor affecting the kinetic energy is the mass of the object and the speed of the object. So if we have two cars, one with a higher mass than the other one, so the work needed to stop the high mass car more than the work needed to stop the low mass car, because the kinetic energy of a moving object increases by increasing the mass. And if we have two similar mass cars, one moving faster than the other, so the work needed to stop the faster car is more than that needed to stop the car of a lower speed, and that's because the kinetic energy of a moving object increases by increasing the speed of the object. So the kinetic energy is directly proportional to the mass and the square of the speed. And the kinetic energy equal half mass multiplied by speed square. So what is meant by the kinetic energy of an object equals 0? That means that the object doesn't move. So this means that the object is at rest, which is speed equal 0. Racing bike is moving at the speed of 20 meters per second. Calculate its kinetic energy, knowing that the mass is 8 kilograms. So kinetic energy equal half mass multiplying the speed square. So kinetic energy equal 4 multiply 20 square equal 160 joule. So calculate the mass of an object, its kinetic energy equal 50 joule and speed equal 5 meters per second. So kinetic energy equal half mass times speed square. So we need to calculate the mass. So the mass, or then the half mass equal kinetic energy divided by the speed square, 50 joule multiplied by 25 equal 2. So half mass equal 2. So the mass will equal 4 kilogram. An object whose mass is 5 kilogram and moves at a speed of 10 meters per second we need to calculate the kinetic energy. So again, kinetic energy equal half mass multiplied by speed square. So kinetic energy equal half mass 2.5 kilogram multiplied by 100. 10 square is 100 equal 250 joule. So calculate the speed of an object. Its mass is 10 kilogram and its kinetic energy is 500 joule. So kinetic energy equal half mass multiply speed square. We need to calculate the speed, so speed square will equal kinetic energy multiply divided by half the mass, so will equal 500 joule multiplied by 5, so equal 100. So velocity or speed square equal 100. Take the root, so V will equal 10 meter per second. So finally, the mechanical energy now equal potential energy and kinetic energy. So mechanical energy, as we said, is the sum of potential and kinetic energy of the object. So for this ball, tennis ball, when we're raising the ball, the work done by the hand is stored in the ball as a potential energy. When we leave the ball to reach the ground, the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. And as the ball rises again, the kinetic energy again change into potential energy. So potential energy is converted into kinetic energy and vice versa. So at any moment, the sum of potential and kinetic energy is equal constant value. We call it mechanical energy. So for the ball at a maximum height, the potential energy is maximum, kinetic energy is 0, and the mechanical energy will equal potential energy. As the ball reach the middle point, the potential energy will equal the kinetic energy. They both will equal half of mechanical energy. So the mechanical energy will equal 2 multiply potential energy or 2 multiply kinetic energy. When the ball reach the ground, so the potential energy will equal 0, kinetic energy will be maximum, so the mechanical energy will equal the kinetic energy. So why, although the decrease in the potential energy of an object during falling, but its mechanical energy remain constant? Because the decrease happen in the potential energy of an object equal the increase of kinetic energy. So calculate the mechanical energy from moving body whose potential energy is 2000 joule and kinetic energy is 100 joule. So mechanical energy equal potential energy plus kinetic energy. So mechanical energy will equal 2000 plus 100 equal 2100 joules. Stone whose mass is 3 kilogram thrown from a height of 10 meter. Find the potential energy and kinetic energy at the beginning of the falling, so at the beginning of the fall, at maximum height. So the potential energy will be maximum and will equal the mechanical energy. So potential energy will be equal weight multiply the height, 3 multiply 10 to get the weight, multiply 10 of the height, equal 300 joules, and the kinetic energy will equal 0. Second, when the ball reach the middle of the height, 5 kilogram, so at the top, we say that potential energy will equal all of energy, mechanical energy, and will equal 300 joules. So when the reach of the middle, mechanical energy equal half equal 2 potential energy equal 2 kinetic energy. So at the middle point, the potential energy will equal half of mechanical energy equal half of 300 will be 150 joules, and also the kinetic energy equal half mechanical energy 150 joules. So after reaching the height of 3 meters, we need to so the potential energy at a 3 meter will equal 30 Newton by 3 equal 90 joules, and kinetic energy equal mechanical energy minus potential energy. So mechanical energy is 300 minus 90 joule, 210 joules. So when we reach the earth, so the potential energy will equal 0, and the kinetic energy will be maximum. So the kinetic energy will equal 300 joules. The opposite figure represents the falling ball whose weight is 5 Newton from position A to position B, passing the position C. So the kinetic energy at position A will equal 0, because at position A is the top. So in the top, or at the beginning of the movement, the potential energy is maximum and kinetic energy equal 0. The potential energy at position B when touching the ground, so and in touching the ground, the potential energy equal 0 and kinetic energy equal will be maximum. A person throws a ball whose mass 0.5 kilogram vertically upward, and while it was passing through a point X, which is 4 meters above Earth's ground, its speed was 3 meters per second. Calculate the work done on the ball. So the work done equal mechanical energy, which equal the potential energy plus kinetic energy. So potential energy equal weight multiply the height. We have the mass of the object, so we get the weight. So will equal 0.5 multiply 10 multiply 4 meters equal 20 joules. So for the kinetic energy equal half mass multiply speed square equal half multiply half multiply 3 square equal 2.25 joules. So mechanical energy equal potential energy plus kinetic energy equal 20 joules plus 2.25 joules equal 22.25